Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist here at Adobe, joined by founder and Senior UX Designer Rachel Smith. How are you, Rachel?
Hey, Howard, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Great to see you again. You were on Adobe Live
Yeah.
not too long ago, and it looks like the title just covered your face completely, so I apologize.
Oh,
But yeah,
no.
great to have you back.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back today. I had so much fun last time doing the live design session and, with Adobe Max happening today and all the new updates in XD, I'm really excited to do another session and see what's new.
Yeah, me too. Before we dive into all the good stuff, I do want to say a big hello, good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone joining us in chat. We've got Aaron and Cody and Grace and Sam and Joshua, Sarah, Shubham, and someone from Japan. Good morning, or probably it's good evening. I don't even know maybe morning. I'm not sure. It might be the middle of the night. Eric and everyone else joining. If you are tuning in live here, let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from. So, as Rachel mentioned, Adobe Max today, day number 1. This is so exciting. I love days like this. We've been preparing.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's super exciting. We've been preparing for quite a while for this Adobe Max, and we have some new features that we want to talk a little bit about. I'm going to dive into a few of them, mostly the big one today, and then Sarah's just going to kind of... Sarah? Who the heck is... Oh, I just read in Sarah. Rachel. I just want to get for reading chat while I'm talking. Hi, Sarah, by the way. Rachel's going to dive in and do some designing with some of those features, but let me go ahead and hop over to my screen just for a second. And this is the big one that many of you have seen. Let me actually just make sure this chat is visible. There we go. Oh, Minnesota. It's snowing in Minnesota. What is happening? We've got Pasadena and Chicago, Boston, Glendale, Denver, Colorado. We've got Sweden, Brooklyn, Chicago, San Diego, Indiana, Saskatchewan, Seattle, California. Man, everywhere, all over the place. That's awesome. Great to see everyone. So, the big feature that we released today for Adobe XD, 3D transforms, which... Man, I've been using this feature and playing around with it for quite a while. And I remember when one of our engineers came and sat down, when we actually can, meet in person, and he gave me a preview. I think this was last year. It's been in the works for quite a while. And he gave me a preview of this side project he'd been working on, and it just blew my mind. So 3D Transforms is in Adobe XD, and we do have a bunch of new features. Let me just quickly go through. Of course, 3D Transforms is the big one. We also have Creative Cloud Libraries is directly integrated in Adobe XD, and I'll show you that in a moment. We also have a Visual Studio Code integration, an extension you can download, which is great for developers. Co-editing is now at a beta. New plugins, auto height text, so it resizes, great if you're working with stacks. Nested components basically got a complete redo, and now nested hover works, which is fantastic. So there's a lot going on in this update, and I can't say much at the moment, but I took a peek at what's going to be worked on for 2021. We got some good stuff, a lot of features that many of you have requested, some maybe some surprises, so we'll see. So let me hop over to Adobe XD, and if you caught the video, you can watch it on letsxd.com/3D, or it's on my YouTube channel. But let me show you a quick glimpse at 3D Transforms. It just blows my mind every time I play around with this. So this project here, coffee application, which I actually designed on Adobe Live for the purpose of this. I love doing that. I like kind of designing things on Adobe Live, and then later on when a feature gets released, poof, right? There it is. So what I'm going to do now, I want to create a presentation with this particular design. So I'm going to make my life a little bit easier. I'm actually going to select all of the elements on this design, and I'm going to turn all of this into a component, just so that I have a flat version of this design that I can update later on, and I don't have to worry about updating in 3D and all that fun stuff, right? And now with nested video support and nested component support, everything works really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this component. hop over here to this artboard, and I have a few layers that you can see in my layers panel, right? We've got this device frame, just a bunch of rectangles basically, and I have this mask, which I want to put this component inside. So I'm simply just going to paste it in place, just like that. I can move it in there, and I'm doing this so that the corners, when I click out of this mask, the corners are nicely contained, right? Now, of course I could leave this as is, but what I want to do is get a little bit creative with this, and that's where 3D Transforms comes into play. In the layers panel, I'm going to select all of these layers, so the frame, the application, and also the shadow, and group it. That's the wrong shortcut. Command and Control G. There we go. Now I grouped it all. I'm going to name this device, right? So it looks like it's still buffering. Oh, I'm sorry if anything's buffering. Try to refresh and see if that helps, but hopefully it's not affecting too many people. All right. You can also, as Sam mentioned, you can also try YouTube. There is a link over there. So I've got this presentation and it looks pretty good, right? But I want to get a little bit fancy with it. So over to the right within the Properties Inspector, we have the 3D Transform icon. I can go ahead and press that. Also, Command and Control T will enable this as well. And it enables a bunch of new fields. You can rotate along the X-axis, the Y-axis. You can also control the Z depth. But you've also got this gizmo right in the center, and you're able to just rotate things just like that. So I'm rotating along the X-axis and the Y-axis. I can push it back or forward in space, right? I can move this up. I can grab the shadow, move this down a little bit, so it really looks like it is, floating, right? John says setting to auto has helped, or you can also decrease the quality of the video. That may also help. So this in and of itself is pretty cool, right? You've got this cool 3D looking effect for your designs. And of course, because we're using a component, if I dove into the main component as I'm updating this, it's changing across the instances, which is really cool, right? But where it really gets exciting is when Auto Animate gets involved. So let me go ahead and I'm going to dive in just to kind of set this up. I'm going to dive into this component. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and simply draw out a rectangle. And you're noticing as I'm doing that, it's respecting the 3D transformation that I created, right? I'm going to move this behind, just like that. And maybe I'll just pull it out just a little bit and maybe round the corners a touch, right? So I'm giving this shape a little bit of a 3D feel to it. And I'm going to, let's say, sample this frame color and just drop just like that. And just finesse this into place. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, push this side in a touch, and just round this out a little bit more, just so I have a nice 3D feel to this device, right? Again, in and of itself, it looks pretty cool. It's great for a presentation, but the beauty of Adobe XD is Auto Animate. So I'm going to very quickly duplicate this artboard. And on this first artboard, I'm going to reset the transformation. So I can right click, reset transformations, and I'm going to pull this back in just like that. Move this, I'm going to adjust the shadow to pull it back towards the device. Maybe I'll even push this back in space a little bit, just like that, right? And now, just like we have been able to do in the past, we can now wire this up for prototyping. So in prototype mode, I'm simply going to drag a wire from the artboard level to the next artboard. We'll do a time trigger, let's say 0.6 seconds delay, auto animate. We'll do a slight in and out, and maybe we'll do like 3 seconds so it's nice and slow. And now when I press play, watch this. Look at that. Isn't that fancy? Now I'm noticing the frame is a little bit too thick, so I'm just going to pull this in just a touch, just like that. And one more time. There we go. Look at that. So I do see a lot of questions in the chat. I don't want to spend too many. Tweet me after the stream, because I do want to pass things over to Rachel, who's going to be designing some pretty cool stuff. But go to Twitter, twitter.com/Pinsky. I did post a few examples, but there's a lot you can do, including AR experiences, card flips. I have a sample file, letsxd.com/3D. Also, I've been working with Sam Peterson, who's in the chat, and he's been working on some cool assets that I'm going to be using in future demos, but very quickly. Right? I'm going to group this. I'm going to rotate this back in space. I'm going to dive in here and duplicate. And you're noticing what's happening, right? It's respecting the 3D space. So I can very quickly create really cool, interesting effects like this. And of course, it works with Auto Animate and that sort of stuff. So 3D transforms, it's going to be a game changer for a lot of workflows in Adobe XD. But I would love to see and hear what Rachel thinks about 3D transforms. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Rachel, and go crazy.
Yeah, Howard, thanks so much for doing that walkthrough. Honestly,
Yeah.
when I saw the keynote this morning and saw 3D transforms, my mind kind of blew a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is huge. So yeah, this is definitely a game changer. I know there's so many instances where I just wish there was a feature like that. So really excited to kind of walk through everyone what I'm thinking about building today and maybe playing it around with it a bit. There's just so many awesome new upgrades and features. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what all the community does with 3D transforms, because the sky's the limit, right? I've been experimenting with AR and wallet experiences and card flips and things like that. Someone says, say boop, boop, there we go. But really the community is what's going to drive what's really possible with this feature. So I'm super excited to see what's coming.
Yeah, I'm excited too. But I kind of wanted to chat through with everyone today something I've been kind of playing around with and working on. I've been taking on this personal project of mine, just having fun. I wanted to create a wallet app for the everyday user, and I deemed it bread and butter. This is Bill, my piece of bread. He's our little mascot here. But yeah, I had some ideas for a wallet app. I was hoping everyone can help me build it out a bit. But basically what we're trying to create today is a friendly, easy to use wallet app for the everyday user. Some of the key features I'm really hoping to think about when building this wallet app is basically a place to store all of your payments, maybe get a quick overview of some of your spending. Let's say you want to set a goal, like you have, a trip to Hawaii that you want to plan for. How can you get to that goal? And more. And then one of the things we really wanted to accomplish in doing this bread and butter wallet app is just basically making it a one-stop shop for all your purchasing needs without the inconvenience of carrying too many items. So yeah, really excited to share this kind of fun side project idea with everyone. And hopefully we can kind of build it out together. But really quickly, I wanted to get in the right frame of mind. And as a UX person, sometimes for me, if there's too many options, I like to just kind of sit down and start sketching things out. So this is some of the screens that I was thinking about we could try to walk through today. So maybe creating some kind of home screen. We have Bill the bread here. Maybe we have 2 calls to action, sign in, log in. We could always use Touch ID, even think about an onboarding experience if we wanted to. And then a couple screens I was thinking about creating today was maybe having like some sort of home screen with like an overview, and then an activity screen, and then the wallet portion where if you were to pull up, you can have all of your credit cards in one place, your debit cards in one place, gift cards. So those are some of the key things I was thinking about. But if anyone else in the chat has something that maybe I'm totally missing when it comes to a wallet, let me know. Would love to kind of talk through it and build it out with you all. How does that sound?
Yeah, if anyone has questions for Rachel as she's going through this experience, definitely throw them in the chat. I am taking a peek. I know Eric in the chat is asking if it works with dimension, and the short answer is no. When you're talking about true 3D, which is dimension, that's when performance could potentially start to suffer in an application like Adobe XD, which is 2D. So this is a nice compromise, right? This kind of faux 3D that we've introduced, which is really fun, but possibly, I haven't experimented with this yet, but because a CC library is now directly integrated with Adobe XD, there's a possibility you can save some of those more, flat 3D assets that you've created in Dimension into your library and then use them directly within Adobe XD. Again, I haven't tried this yet, but you can do that sort of thing and just kind of keep everything in sync through the Creative Cloud libraries. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I actually created a bread and butter library here, Howard. So we can go ahead and click into it. We'll drag some things in that I've created within this library into the wallet that we're building. So really excited. Really quickly though, if any of you didn't tune in last time and don't know who I am, really quickly, I'm Rachel. I am a founder of a UX global volunteer organization that helps figure out issues related to the pandemic. We're called Design to Combat COVID-19. And I'm also a senior UX designer over at Nordstrom. Howard and I, over the summer, we had a really awesome time building design systems together. So I'm really excited to kind of be back and build an app with you all, using all the new updates from XD. But as I mentioned, if I haven't met any of you before, nice to meet you. And if this is your second time coming back or a third time, nice to see you again.
So Yaron is asking, do you often sketch out your designs beforehand?
Yes, I really like to. If it's something that's a little bit bigger blue sky, something that I'm creating from scratch, I like to just, I was a fine arts major in a former life. So painting, sketching, those are things that just kind of, I always lean to. When it's something that's, a bit blue sky, or I'm just thinking from scratch, sometimes I like to just get quick and dirty, go ahead and sketch that out. But if it's, if I'm working for a corporate job and they need something out really quickly, I'll usually do like lo-fi wireframes. It depends. But if I have more time, I like to have fun and kind of explore a bit.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this welcome home screen here. So we have our bread and butter logo title here at the front. As I mentioned, I have the library here, and I also have some document assets. Let's see, I'm going to go to my library, and here I actually have my little Bill the Bread, and I'm going to go ahead and drag him in right there. I already have that background. So I just thought he was so cute. He's just holding like a little piece of butter, and he has like those
it is adorable
green glass. I wish I could say I illustrated this, but I actually got it from the Adobe stock, and I kind of edited I added a little coin into his hand. And when I went into Adobe stock, they had so many great illustrations that I was able to license. So what I did is I licensed this little piece of bread. I added a coin, changed his glasses a bit, and then added it to my library, which, connects to Illustrator. It connects to XD. So yeah, it's really nice to have him here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. I was also thinking about using two types of CTAs. So maybe I created this component from earlier. I'm going to go ahead and drag it in. We have a sign up, but I'm going to go ahead and create an instance as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy it here.
My camera just decided to just go off. So
oh no,
you keep designing. I'll figure that one out, just in case anyone's wondering.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw it go up. I was like, I'm not sure if he's there or not, but no worries. Okay, but this is, a green background. So I was thinking, let's go ahead and go to our colors section. We'll go ahead and make it white. And then we're going to have, okay, so that's going to be our main CTA or call to action. So let's say you haven't signed up for our bread and butter app. We definitely want you to utilize all the awesome tools and features. So we're going to go ahead and have you sign up. However, let's say you already have an account. We're going to go ahead and just repeat that. Going to remove this fill, go ahead and make the sign up section white, but I'm going to go ahead and say log in instead. Let's see. Oh no, why is it not? There we go. Log in. Perfect. Oh, why? What's happening? Okay, let's try that again. Right there.
And by the way, while Rachel is going through those buttons, you may have mentioned a little bit earlier that she accessed one of her CC libraries directly from the new libraries panel on the left-hand side. And I think, once people really start kind of exploring that area, they're going to really start to figure out how powerful that is. Because essentially what you're able to do is load in things like material design libraries or the iOS library or any other design system that you might have that's shared as a library, right? And you have direct access to all that stuff directly from that panel, which is super cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so now I have my log in, and I'm going to go ahead and make that white. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Sweet. And then I'm going to just drag them right down here, and then go ahead and remove this fill. Awesome. So now we have our sign up and our login home screen. Now, moving on, let's say, there are various different ways you can go ahead and, move forward. Obviously, if you sign up, you're going to press sign up. You're probably going to get a sheet or a modal saying, okay, enter in all your information or log in. You'll enter your email address and all that. But just for the sake of time and kind of going through all the cool features today, let's just pretend you've already logged in and we're going to go move forward to our home screen. Now, the first thing I want to think about is what is our navigation going to look like? So, because we took the time to kind of look at our sketches, it looks like we have a home screen, an activity section, and a wallet. So what I'm thinking in terms of a bottom navigation is maybe we can use some sort of iconography to really have that be the touchpad of like where you would go in your wallet experience, right?
Right.
So for home, the first thing I'm thinking is probably a home icon. For the wallet, we can explore maybe some icons for a wallet, and my activity, we can maybe do, maybe like a dollar sign. I don't know. What do some folks think in the chat, my activity? What's a good icon for that?
Yeah, definitely throw those in the chat. Very quickly, we do have a few questions coming in. Alexandra is asking, how would you go about changing colors globally? Does the new library feature assist with global changes? So absolutely. So previously when we had document assets, your assets panel, you can definitely do that. As long as you have a color or character style in that asset panel, you can change the color in over there, and it changes that color globally. Now, if you're working with a shared library, it's a little bit of a different experience. If you own that library, then you can just hop into that library and make the changes, and it changes globally across that document. If it's a shared library, let's say someone on your team, like Rachel, for example, shares a library with me. She's controlling the design system. She's able to actually make the change. Let's say the base color of the company logo changes. She can make that change on her side, and then I can accept it on my side, and then it pushes globally. So the answer is yes, but depending on the situation, it may be a slightly different workflow.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So one plugin that I used last time when we were building our style guide, what I thought was really cool is in XD, you can actually go ahead and search for plugins. So I actually clicked Discover Plugins, and you can search for literally almost anything. If you need illustrations, if you need accessibility assistance, I'm going to go ahead and search for icons.
And there's a list plugin. Sorry to interrupt, but we have a list plugin which you can make bullet points. And it's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was created by an internal team at Adobe while we are working on a much larger text engine for Adobe XD, which will bring things like lists and bullets and things natively, right? But in the meantime, one of the teams just decided, you know what? Let's make a plugin in the meantime. So thank you. Whoever, I forget who did it, but thank you for that. But yeah, a new text engine is planned. I don't know when it's coming, but it's a big project, so stay tuned for that eventually.
Yeah, there's so many awesome plugins. If you haven't explored them, you should definitely go in there and just have fun with it. One that I really like to use is Icons for Design, so I'm just going to go ahead and install that. And while we're waiting for it, cool, it says plugin installed. I can literally just click right here. And I think one of the icons we said for the home screen is home, right? So here's a really awesome icon. It just drops it off right over here. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that and bring it right over. So navigation TBD, well, now we're making it, right? So let's go ahead and put the house there. And then I'm gonna go back to, let's see here. Oh, I keep doing that. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Our assets. Perfect. And I want to go ahead and make this our green. And as you can see, I've pulled in. So I'm going to go back to my libraries, my bread and butter library. So since I've created this library in a separate document, I've defined kind of the colors that we wanted to use for this app. So I have my bread white, my bread gold, gray, and green. I have a gradient, which I'm using for my headers and my footers. I've also already defined some character styles so that when I'm typing, I can go ahead and click right on that and it changes automatically. So for this instance, what I want to go ahead and do is just to match the overall style and theme of this wall app, I'm going to go ahead and press red green. There we go. And now we have
Fancy.
our home icon.
There
Yeah,
you go.
super easy, right?
Yeah, and I know you asked earlier about additional icons. When you were talking about the wallet experience, some people did mention that you should use maybe an icon of bread, for example. And I wonder if there's like a world where you can use bread, because some people might look at that and think, I don't really understand, why is there bread? Am I going to go in here and get bread? But like combine that maybe with a coin or like slices of bread that kind of look like a wallet. You can integrate like a chip or a credit card signature line or something to that effect. It could be fun.
Yeah, that could be really fun. I do agree, Howard, that I think, you know, just for this exercise, especially if you're thinking like an international audience, maybe a slice of bread might not resonate with, you know, that's actually something I was struggling with too when I was making this, like bread and butter. Like, is that just, you know, a North American thing? And then I Google, it's like, well, it seems like it's pretty universal. But, you know, in terms of, let's say you're shopping and you really want to get to your cards really quickly, it seems like everyone kind of uses a wallet. But I think it would be really fun if I wanted to explore this maybe outside of this exercise. Yeah, to like maybe have this wallet maybe morph like a slice of bread, like it was recognizable from both ends. I think that's a really fun experience because it is kind of like, you know, cylindrical, like it's almost shaped like a piece of bread, kind of, right?
It kind of looks like it, yeah. You might get some angry comments from the gluten-free audience, but hey, it might be worth trying out, see what happens.
Totally. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make that green also. So let's see here. We have our home, we have our wallet, and I'm gonna go ahead and search for one more. But you know what? Just for the sake of time, I actually created a bottom navigation already. Here we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drag it in. So this is a component that I've already created. So as mentioned, we have our home, we have our wallet, and then we have an activity icon as well. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and use this as the navigation, which is really cool. And then I'm gonna go ahead and reference what I've sketched out before. So, okay, let's see here. In my home screen, I really want to say like, hey, Rachel, you have X amount of cash available. Here are your separate accounts. Like, let's say you have an account just for your cash. You have an account just for your credit card. Maybe you want to create some goals. So let's go ahead and create that right now. So I've already started with a container right here, and it looks like we have the first one we want to set as cash. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag this down, bring it over, and I'm going to go ahead and say that I have $100 in cash, right? Let's see here. And I'm gonna bring this over right here. Maybe we can drop that there and make it green. And then maybe I'll search for another icon here. Let's see here, there we go. And then I wonder if we have money, or I was thinking, what do they call that when it's like the sack of coins? Like, is there a term for that?
There must be. I'm not quite sure.
Right? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm sure someone in the chat would know.
When Scrooge McDuck, he opens up the vault and there's like 500 of them.
Yeah. I wish I had a vault like that.
Right?
If I ever strike the lottery or something, I'm building a vault just of coins.
I always loved it when he like would open up the vault and would just like dive into it like he was swimming. I always thought that cracked me up.
Yeah.
We actually already have this coin, so I think maybe I'll just use that for this here. We'll go ahead and drop that in, and maybe
a lot of people are saying money bag.
Yeah, money bag. Thank you.
That's probably it.
That's
when you're designing live in front of an audience, you just completely forget things.
Totally. It's like, yeah, you're just doing the thing, and then okay, I want to go ahead and use like an arrow, like a little there we go. Yeah, iOS arrow forward. That's perfect. So that's like an indicator that I can go ahead and check that out a little bit more, and we can definitely flesh that out by like adding, you know, like a really nice background here. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my colors, make that the bread gray, net worth. We can go ahead and let's see here. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna make this just a little bit bigger to indicate that we have this much. And then I kind of want to add maybe like a background here with rounded corners. You could do.
My camera keeps going out. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no, technical difficulties. It happens. Okay, and then maybe we can go ahead and bring this forward. I'm just going to leave that for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring it down. And then what else do I have here? So credit. So we can go ahead and edit this as credit.
So Lee in the chat is saying, my biggest takeaway from all the sessions I've watched today is that I'm missing out on the world of XD plugins. So many great ones. And it's so true. There's a ton of plugins that you can use in XD to really just like completely streamline your workflow or add in functionality that doesn't yet exist in XD natively.
Yeah, it's really exciting. All the different things that, they're bringing to the forefront. Cool. And then let's see here. So I have these gift cards that I was playing. Okay. I'm kind of getting a little bit too granular here, but you get the idea. So we'll have like accounts here, and then maybe we could have like a separate section here, and we'll go ahead and call that goals. And I think we could hash this out a little bit more. I know we don't have too much time. We only have a half hour, and I really want to show like some card swiping features as well that we have today. But let's see, goals, we can go ahead and put like a little piggy bank. Let's say you want to go to Hawaii. You can go ahead and say, like you're X amount away. It just depends. So let's say you have like $60 or whatever. Yeah, you can go ahead and create that section. So yeah, we have like a home screen. We can go ahead and add like various icons. So let's say you want to add, like a credit card. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and do that. So credit card, but the one thing I do want to say is whatever icons you do use, you want them to be consistent. So I may just remove this one and then have these all kind of be the same type of style, because you want to make sure that it's, cohesive overall within your design. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and come back here, and then net worth, I'll just use like a different type of coin maybe. Yeah, this looks perfect. Okay, so I'll use these coins. Yeah, okay, there we go. So now we're starting to get somewhere. I'll go back to my colors, make it gray. Perfect. And then I'm just going to go ahead and there and there. Oh no, I'm like messing up all the things. Okay, so now you get a good idea of what we're getting at in terms of account, credit, goals. I'm shifting all the things around. I'm all over the place right now.
That's okay. But something like this would be a great area to utilize stacks in, right? So if you wanted to move the credit section above net worth, for example, you just kind of drag and drop and things just do what you would expect, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm still like learning stacks. I think that was something that we brought in like earlier this year, right? So yeah. Definitely utilize that. It's a time saver for sure. Cool. And then, okay, so then what we have here is this my activity section. And what I was thinking in this activity section is, maybe we can have similar to other types of wallet apps there are, or even, money transaction apps, just showing you what's kind of come in, what's come out. And then maybe you can filter based on your cash, or if it's a credit card, maybe you can search for various activity too. I think that'd be really fun to explore. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just remove this, and then I'm going to repeat that one, because a lot of them are the same. And I'm going to just rename this activity. Activity. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and do it here too. Active. So Howard, what's your favorite feature that's come out today?
I mean, it's got to be, 3D Transform. It's just such a game-changing feature that I've been having such a lot of fun with over the last few months while I've been testing it. And there's just so much possibility with a feature like that. But, aside from that, I think something like auto height text, which specifically working with stacks, is going to really change how that functionality works. Because previously, if you wanted to change the height of your text, right, there was a few steps to go about it, especially when you were inside of a stack. But now it just kind of all flows naturally. As you get to the end of a text box, it just kind of goes to the next line. Everything below it just bumps down as you'd expect, which is nice.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah. What about you?
Let's see here. Yeah, I think the 3D transform is amazing. I don't know. I was just so floored by the keynote this morning, and I saw the video that you created and the little kitchen scene where you're able to go through like the pancakes. And I really loved how you layered it too. I think you took the eggs and you made like a layer on top, and the same with the kitchen sink, and so you could actually move the 3D transform like before or in front or behind it. And I don't know, it's just a total game changer, just the way that you're able to build, whether it be for AR or prototyping. It's just, I've never seen that before in any, program that I've used. So it's really cool, and it's easy.
That's true. Yeah. It's we took completely took the complexity out of 3D, which is amazing.
Yeah, totally. And actually in this wallet section that we'll be creating on the next page, I'm hoping to drop in a few credit cards with like a side swipe. And I think it'd be really cool if you can help me kind of give it like a cool angle with the 3D transform. And I mean, I haven't played around with it too much, so hopefully you can kind of guide me, but I think that'd be really cool. So just to check out. Okay, so we're in this activity section, and I've actually went ahead and created this cash activity component. So basically what's listed in this component is we have an icon indicating, green because cash is coming in. And then we're saying, where is it coming from? It's coming from the Bank of Design, and it's $100, right? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do a repeat grid, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag that down. Now that feels like a lot, so I'm just going to space it out just a bit. And then what I'm going to do here is just hide it, but I'm going to space it out a little bit more so you could actually see that it's an indicator. You could scroll on the page. There we go. Cool. So I've created this activity section here. And what I want to do is I want to have some variance between cash in and cash out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into this instance, and then I'm going to make this background the gray, and that's going to be an indicator of cash out. And I'm just going to go ahead and change that to cash out. Yep. And then I can go ahead and change this verbiage. Let's say you sent money to your friend Stephanie P. And then I'm going to go ahead and just say, maybe you gave her $10. So, when you're able to color code, that kind of helps you understand a bit more. Green means in because, cash money, or gray means out because, it's leaving your account. So this is something that we could definitely explore with as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and update these bits. So we'll say cash in again. We can say this is coming from, let's say, just like day job, whatever your day job is, day job. And then let's say you got paid, $350.74. I don't know. Let's see. And then we'll do the same here. This will go ahead and be a cash out. And then we want to make that a great indicator as well. And let's say you paid, I don't know, let's say you went to Disneyland.
I wish.
I know.
I haven't gone anywhere in like the last, I don't even remember when things got shut down, but I just want to go on a plane and just go somewhere.
That sounds incredible. I feel like yesterday was March and now it's October. So, that's just how this year is going. But yeah, definitely have a lot of mental vacations on the mind. That's true.
As a designer, how have you been dealing with all of this? Has it affected you at all?
I've been working a lot more, but I've also found, yes, I'm a designer, but I'm also a hobbyist, and I get inspiration from design from doing other things as well. So my husband and I this summer, we got into woodworking. I just bought an iPad Pro, and I downloaded some cool apps to kind of check out for drawing. And I know now you could actually draw in Illustrator with the Pro, which is incredible. So I'm really trying to get back into illustration, as you guys saw with my my little sad sketch of Bill my bread up there on the top of my wireframes. But yeah, I just been kind of exploring things that I've always wanted to get into that I found that I have a bit more time for. What about you?
Yeah, I really haven't done much. I did have COVID in July, which is no fun. I'm still dealing with it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a rough 2 weeks, and then it got better for a little bit, and then now the lingering symptoms, which apparently is very normal. those are coming back. So I'm constantly having coughing fits and shortness of breath. I'm under the care of like a million doctors. It's ridiculous. But
Wow.
I'm alive. So I'm thankful for that. And I know a lot of COVID survivors and people who do contract COVID are in much worse situations. So I can't complain too much.
Wow, well, I'm so glad you're like better now.
Yeah, for the most part. But, you know, it's been an interesting few months, that's for sure. You know, I'm used to traveling to San Francisco to host Adobe Live, like things like this, every month or so. But even like going to restaurants, like we can't, you know, we don't feel safe at the moment going to restaurants and things like that. So it's definitely a new norm. I hope things get better. I'm sure things will eventually, but you know, we're here, we're alive, we're hanging in there. But you know, this really is showing that things are changing a little bit. Remote work is more a focus these days, and things like this. You know, we're thankful that we can offer Adobe Live to so many people, thousands of people who are watching, and you know, continue doing what we do.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're better, and it's actually super incredible that we've been able to take this conference free and global.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing resources online, and I feel like the community, especially the design community this year, has just gotten much closer and just helping each other and being supportive for each other. I have made so many amazing e-friends and Twitter friends and Adobe friends that I'm constantly conversing with. Yeah, you know, this year has been a real challenge and very ambiguous, but you know, I feel like the design community has gotten really strong, and we've just been supporting each other. It's been pretty incredible to see.
Absolutely. And I can't wait for the day where we can actually get back to, you know, in-person conferences or small events. I don't know, you know, honestly, I don't know if things will go back fully to normal, but assuming that, you know, in-person conferences take off again, I would really like to see more of like a hybrid model, because something like this, what we're doing now and what we did earlier with the keynote, is just fantastic. We're just reaching so many people. But I do know that a lot of people love that in-person interaction that you get from in-person conferences. So we'll see what the future holds. I mean, a lot of it will depend on whether or not this virus gets contained anytime soon, but we'll see what happens. But you know what?
Yep.
It's a new world, and we're all adapting. And like you said, we're making new connections online, making new friends, and it goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Let's see here. This activity section. Okay, you guys I was struggling a bit. I was trying to get all the pieces together, but yeah, now we have this activity section. So we're saying, you know, all together that math doesn't add up here. So you can don't look at the numbers, but
we're designers. We're not mathematicians.
Yeah. I actually had an old job where I worked on cart and checkout for a pretty big e-com company, and one of the head execs was like, make sure all the designers add up all the things in cart. And I'm like, man, that's gonna take like 20 minutes just in itself. But we had to go through and like make sure all the math added up. So ignore that for now. But let's say, you know, you have activity of $260 in your account, and you know, this adds up to that. But what you can do now is you can preview it, and you can kind of scroll up and down and see all the past transactions, whether, you know, you got cash in from the Bank of Design, you sent Stephanie some money, you got some cash in from your day job, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have an activity
very quickly
section.
Before you dive in. Oh, by the way, hey Lance, Lance is in the chat. Him and his team created the quick mockup plugin and also the whiteboard plugin. If you've used those, great plugins by the way. But very quickly, you just showed off scroll groups in Adobe XD, which we introduced a little bit earlier in the year. And I think there are still some people who don't know that scroll groups do exist. I did see a few videos. Or a few comments on one of my latest videos asking, you know, when's scroll group coming, or that sort of thing. If you have a second before you dive into like 3D transforms, can you show off scroll groups one more time just in case someone missed it?
Yeah, totally. So what I did is I created an individual component, and then I used repeat grid to kind of go ahead and pull it down. So we repeated the grid. And what I did is, let's see here. So I had it go all the way past, but what I indicated is I said, okay, just for like the visual, what I'm going to have it do is just cut off right at the navigation. But what the scroll group is doing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but in the behind, it's actually longer than you can see here. So that when I go ahead and press play, you can see that I can go ahead and scroll up and down, and it's in that entire group, but it's only showing right where I indicated it to end, which was at the top of that navigation bar.
Yeah, you can kind of look at it like a mask, right? It creates a mask around all of your objects, and they may extend much further down the artboard like you were showing, but that mask is scrollable. And you can go horizontally, you can go vertically, you can also go in both directions. So you can have a horizontal and a vertical scroll group. So if you're design like a maps experience, or now with 3D transforms, you can design like AR experiences where you're kind of looking around a map, or like a live city or something. So yeah, scroll groups been here for, again, going back to the month thing, I don't know when we released it. It was sometime this year, but it's been such a blur, but it's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, and actually I'm really glad you kind of touched on the horizontal scroll groups too, because I know a lot of wallet apps, they kind of show the cards coming right towards you, but I was just kind of having fun with this, and I thought, what happened if you wanted to side swipe some of your cards? Yeah, for visibility, maybe it's not so great because you want to see all your cards at once, but we're kind of just having fun here. And I can go ahead and show you what I was thinking in that cards page too, but really quickly, on this activities page, so yeah, I did the scroll group, but then what I also did in the bottom navigation is, now that we know we're in the activities section, that home screen icon is now back to gray, because that is an icon that that's a page that or section of the app that we're not on currently. We're on the activity section now. So you really want the indicator of where you are in your customer journey, right? And that's a really great way to do that. Mm-hmm. But moving on, so I went ahead and created this cards page. I was thinking maybe this could be the wallet section. So I'm going to go ahead and add the navigation here. I'm going to go ahead and indicate that we're on this part of the app, and then make that gray. Cool. So now we're in the wallet section. And what I did, and I can show you a little bit more granularly how I created this, but I actually created a component already of credit cards. And oh no, let's see, let's do it here. Right here, cool. So what I've done is I've added these credit cards here, but if I actually click in a little bit deeper, what I went ahead and did is I went into Adobe Stock and I licensed some of these credit cards. And so I very quickly, Rachel, library.
Sorry to interrupt, but it looks like you may have pasted or dragged that credit card component into another component. And
did I? Okay.
Yeah, so currently elements inside of a component cannot be 3D transformed. That's something the team is exploring. It's a bit of a challenge to work on that, but just keep that in mind, that if it's inside of a component, 3D transforms will not be available.
Okay, cool. We can build something a little bit separately and test it out. I think I actually tested something out earlier, and I don't know what I did, but I tried the 3D transform and it seemed to work. But
yeah, you can 3D transform the base component, but if it's inside of another one, like if it's nested, it's not going to work. So you can definitely still use that card.
Okay, cool. Well, just to showcase the horizontal scroll that I was talking about, as I mentioned, what I did is I went ahead and got a lot of these individual cards. And then what I did is I stacked them. So I did a horizontal side stack. And then if I were to press play here, you can see I can go side to side. So I can kind of view my credit cards, and we can build this together. And I can go ahead and, ungroup this, and we can kind of walk through that. But then what I also did is, let's say you wanted to add a credit card. I thought this was really cool. And something that I saw in one of your videos, Howard, is I created, what is it called? Oh no, the word is losing me, but I created this hover state, and not an instance. It's instead of duplicating the artboard, what you do in prototype mode is you can give it separate,
the states, right?
States, thank you. Yeah. So I was having fun with the states as well, which was really cool. But let's see here. Okay, so is there a way I could ungroup this component and kind of show everyone how I did that? Is there a...
Yeah, if you right click on the component, you can definitely ungroup it.
Cool. Awesome. And then these are just individual, or are there two? Oh, so I see what you're saying with the component within the component, right? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So then, so just to show again, that horizontal scrolling. So what I've done is I group these individual items, and then I'm kind of saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just have it end right here. Perfect. And then when I go ahead and press play, it's going to go ahead and scroll side to side. And I also did it again with this gift card section. So I'm going to go ahead and add my gift card right there. Let's go ahead and give that a go. Cool. And then I can go side to side here. Now, I'm wondering if there's a way, because this is what I was playing with earlier, the transform. So what I did is I clicked that and I kind of moved it. So it was kind of coming from an angle. I thought that was fun. Look at, maybe I can go a little bit deep. I am not a 3D type person though, so please don't judge if it looks totally.
That's the beauty of 3D transforms, is you don't have to be a 3D. There goes my camera again. Why is it every time I start talking? You don't have to be a 3D designer to understand and play around with these 3D transforms.
Right.
You can still design in 2D and then just make little tiny tweaks and everything looks magical.
Yeah, exactly. Could I, like, if I chose both of these, could I do the transform to both of these items?
Yes, you can.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that so that they're both. Oh, cool. Okay, but it's a little bit, let's see, maybe I'm not doing it right. Okay, I'm just going to do it with this one for now. I'm going to go sideways. There we go. Cool. That looks awesome. And then I'm going to do it the same with this one. I wonder if maybe like I set up the cards so they look a little bit, Okay, so then what I'm going to do is when I preview it, it's kind of coming out the side. Again, like, you know, with thinking about if you're like like an illustrator, you're probably going to want to use like parallel lines to make sure you know that you're headed in the right direction. So maybe the credit card section can kind of like be at an angle too, so they all look the same. But I'm just kind of using this as an example to show you if you wanted to come towards an angle, you can definitely play around with that. I think that's super fun. But for the sake of this, I think what I'm going to do is just like leave it how we had it before, so you can swipe side to side. But again, you can play around with the transform. You can go ahead and have it be sideways. I know Howard had a really cool video. I think it was like the cards that were like coming up and they were coming at an angle, like coming towards you, which was fun. And he also had another video. It was like recipes in a kitchen. So, I mean, the world is your oyster. Definitely have fun with it, play around with it. But yeah, that was something that I was playing around with there.
Yeah, and cool. Our principal designer, Talon Wadsworth, and also one of our engineers, Jonathan Pimento, posted a few examples on Twitter of things like cards and stuff like that. So check them out on Twitter. They have some fun examples, and I'm going to be releasing videos on things like that as well.
Oh, you know what, Howard? One thing I wanted to ask you, and I didn't have time to explore, maybe it's here or maybe it's going to be in the future release, but I think it was the design specs. Could you show me how that worked?
Yeah, so it's under share mode. So if you have your artboards all wired up, so if you have like an experience going, you can share it for review, you can share it for development. And if you share for development, you can provide your assets, your character styles, colors, that sort of thing. You can also grab CSS snippets. And now, I believe as of this update or the last update, you can also right click on an object and copy CSS code directly from Adobe XD.
That's what I was looking into. Can you show, is there a way I can do that here?
So from design mode, if you just right click on any object, you can just copy SVG code. That's what it is.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's so many instances when I'm working, and I really like to work close with my engineering partners, and they want to see like how I built it. I like to shoot over the information really quickly, and I know this is something that was new, so I was really excited about it. So
yeah, Bruno in the chat is asking if there are any plans to export animations to. Sorry, are there any plans to export animations created on XD to developers? The short answer is probably. I do know that next year there's going to be a lot of prototyping focus. So I think Andrew Shorten might have a blog post on some of that stuff. But I believe that's one of the things that we're definitely looking into. So hang tight for that. And we do have about a minute and a half left, Rachel.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, we've worked really quickly.
I know, it blew by quickly.
Yeah, it really did. Okay, so then what I want to go ahead and do is I want to ungroup this. And I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to go ahead and ungroup this one more time. I thought it'd be kind of fun if, let's see here. Okay, I'm just going to Oh my gosh, I almost said boop again and I caught myself. Boop. I didn't realize that that's something that I do until I realized that that's something that I do.
I think every designer has to have like sound effects or some sort of saying that they
Right?
throw out whenever they're designing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what? I'm user error here. Okay, so I'm trying to drop in. How do I make this not a component? So let's see.
So it looks like that one's probably not a component. It's just a linked graphic from a library. So if you just do unlinked graphic.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna paste it. Unlink graphic. Okay.
You can also do it from
Don't
the layers
judge me,
panel as
y'all.
well.
There we go. Okay. Unlink graphic. Perfect. But it's not showing.
Now, what could be happening, and this is something you might have to, users might have to be aware of, is it's possible that you 3D transformed it and moved it back along the Z depth. So if you turn on 3D transforms, check out the Z depth. Yep, see how it's 0.02 right now, or negative? Set that to 0, you should be fine. There we go.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, what would I do without you? I wouldn't have this figured out. Okay.
So we do have to wrap things up. Sorry to interrupt,
no
Rachel,
worries.
but we do have to wrap things up. This was fun. Let's definitely do this again, and maybe we'll have a little bit longer time next time. But
sorry guys, I wanted to get into prototyping and such, but maybe next time.
I know an hour goes by so quickly, but a big thank you to
does.
everyone who has tuned in, and stay tuned. More streams are coming.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.